culture is actually
The following is a special presentation of Sportsball.
Welcome to the resale market. It's a land of peril and danger. You must be wary of scammers and treacherous evildoers pilfering your hard-earned money on badly priced tickets. Who can save the common man from these menaces? Gods above, is it? Yes, it is! SeatGeek has come to save the day! Like any great hero, they fight against the evils of bad resale prices and verify every ticket to make sure you get the best bang for your buck. Check out these powers. Sorting all tickets from red to green on a 1 to 10 scale, allowing you a view from where you'll be sitting at the game. Tickets scannable on game day from the app itself. And best of all, use the code word TREE to help yourself save $20 on your first purchase. SeatGeek is a hero to thousands who need guidance on the resale market. And they do it with pride. Don't forget to thank them for sponsoring this video. Gave a shit about this game, you're a far braver soul than many or a glutton for punishment. Gauging by the attendance in the stands, I feel Houston had better things to do. Like play Russian roulette or walk across a freeway hoping to get run over. When the Texans are forced to start serial Empire Air Davis Mills for lack of a better option, I'd be the next in line to play IRL Frogger. Do you even want me to recap this shit? Okay, I'll do a sentence. The Texans didn't have any response to the Panther defense and lost because Sam Darnold wasn't tethered to coaching deadweight. I would have just had Houston forfeit the match, but the NFL needs to check a box off. Let's see the options. A shitty matinee game or a healthy Christian McCaffrey and JC Horn? I don't know, seems like a hard choice. Justin Fields, a top prospect from Ohio State. Bears fans have been begging for him to start with the uninspiring play of Andy Dalton. It's way too damn early, but the time has come. Fields fever is spread across Chicago. Its symptoms are a god-awful offensive line and a play caller using a stick to douse a burning house. Justin, I hope you have good insurance. You're gonna die! Perhaps that policy will cover you better than the O-line did. Maybe it's playing better than Matt Nagy forcing long developing plays making Justin run for his life. In Cleveland, Fields fever leads to the killing fields. The result is 9 sacks and 47 yards of total offense. 1 net passing yard. Love a fuck, Nagy, put Fields back in the oven. He's nowhere near ready yet. The Browns just had to basically exist on offense and it's an easy win. They'll take the glorified bye week. I mean, the Bears defense tried, but they can't keep that up for 4 quarters. Welcome to Buffalo, Washington. Aw, you think you're so tough with your Tank Division trophy and win against the Derp last week. I wish I could say things could be just as optimal for you, but you're going up against a raging bull. Its name is the Bills. As they annihilate every single aspect of your team and game plan, Josh Allen rampages across the play. The golden arm of his throws darts right between your eyes. They'll take pictures in front of your corpse and sell the ivory on the market. Visceral annihilation is the consensus here. And Buffalo destroys any shred of hope the Reskins had from week 2. It just becomes a massive party by the second half. It was that much of a beatdown. In hindsight, the Steelers didn't just defeat the Bills in week 1. They may have awoken a sleeping giant. This team is going to ruin Trevor Lawrence. There is little here that shows me that the Jaguars have any idea what the hell they're doing on any side of the ball. Arizona was absolutely beatable. When they try to go for a 68-yard field goal at half and you return it for a 109-yard touchdown, you usually should win that game. But this is Jacksonville, and all hope is fed to Gators to appease the Florida god. Maybe someday the Jags can properly utilize their 1,000-yard rusher. Maybe they can get receivers that can catch. Perhaps they won't call a fucking flea flicker with no offensive line and T-Law throwing off his back foot. The Cardinals were trying everything to let you win the game, yet American Fulham is so shit they should be insta-relegated to the XFL. I wish there were relegation in American sports. They deserve it for trading away C.J. Henderson for pennies early on. Bring back the Orlando Apollos. At least that team tried. Sometimes the best laid plans go awry. In New England's case, they were flat out exposed by the Saints defense. Mac Jones got a rude welcome to the NFL. He was stymied by New Orleans Jazz. And if it wasn't him getting smacked around, his receivers were dropping everything like a drunk on Bourbon Street. I call that guy. Maybe he can help block for Mac. 2 critical picks send New Orleans on their way from the fated Death Star. Jameis's food truck has a new special replacing those delicious turnovers. Sugar powdered W's. It unfortunately doesn't have the same meme potential, but I think the Saints will take it. I'm not worried about Mac though. He had a rough game, it happens. I'm more concerned about everything else. Well. Are you ready to admit that things are shitty in Yinzerland yet? There was much overconfidence about the Steelers. It's the Bengals, everyone said. It's in Pittsburgh. They'll crush them like Von Bell on Juju. Hilarious. The Steelers looked like pure shit. Cincy just had their way with them all game. This defense looks really damn suspect when it's without their pass rush. No Watt, Highsmith, or Tuitt will result in that. When you don't get any sacks against the Bengals O-line, it's time to panic. That should have been done long ago about Big Ben, but Artie II still thinks it's 2009. This offense is cooked. Using your first-round pick of a running back properly? Not allowing Ben to pass over 50 times a game? Throwing a fucking screen on a 4th and 10 down by 14 in the 4th? What the hell are they doing? Oh, it was a statement win, alright. For Cincy. They dominated the old bully that tormented them for years. And they did it with a shit-eating grin. Now back to our regularly scheduled ignorance in Pittsburgh. Did this game even happen? It felt like such a blur with everything else going on. There were little pops of action, but for the most part, Tennessee kept the foot on Indy's injured throat and never let go. The Colts offense did absolutely nothing. They were stuffed, slammed, smacked, stymied, and suffocated all game. Carson Wentz wasn't just carrying around 2 bum ankles, he was dragging a dead offense with him. Tennessee was far from pretty too. It wasn't like they looked like the '85 Bears or something, the Colts are just bad. Chance after chance squandered at every conceivable opportunity. Let's admit it, Indy. Your team has been lost since Andrew Luck retired and they haven't been able to recover from it. Now you see the drifting mess in front of you. If only Carson wasn't so injury-prone. It's desperation time for these two teams. They're 0-2 but have foolish ambitions of something much greater than this. One of these curses must prevail. The doom of 28-3 or the reign of the derp. The Giants retired Eli Manning's jersey beforehand, and New York chose to honor his legacy by retiring their team offense for most of the game. You realize this is Atlanta's defense, right? This isn't advanced calculus. Shit, it's not even long division. Is this that common core stuff that tries to rethink offense instead of focus on the basics? It makes sense as the Giants' offense was as awful as Mara's attempt to appeal to the fans. I know he hates taunting. I'd be too when opposing defenses taunt your offense with their own futility. They didn't score a touchdown until the 4th quarter. And the defense can only hold on to containing a hard-declining Matt Ryan for so long. Dory Jackson can whiff on all the easy passes he wants, but when the game is tied, you have to move the ball efficiently. So the G-men put their collective heads together and do a thunk. The result of that genius? A screen pass on a 3rd and 19? Yeah, get Danny Derps fumbled again, but you at least have to try! Their defense is obviously exhausted, so guess what happened? Lapses in coverage and the Falcons getting into field goal range.
Young way to go from 40. The kick. Straight through.
It's an ending fitting of Eli himself, harkening back to him getting fucked over by Ben McAdoo. John Mara's pissed that their ass-backwards ways haven't won them anything, and responded by assaulting innocent garbage cans in a lobby. Oh, that's a 15-yard penalty. We can't have emotion in this league. That's Jason Garrett you just taunted, you inconsiderate swine! You ever have those moments that you get so sucked in by narratives and past performances that you automatically assume that the worst is going to happen? We've seen this movie before with the Chargers. They look really good. They have a chance to go far this year. Yet they always find ways to fuck it up. LA's redheaded stepchild is an early 14-point lead, but they can't seem to keep their foot on the gas. It's not like they're not trying, they'll do everything they can to upend the class of the AFC. The Chargers will keep neck and neck with Kansas City, yet can't close the deal. For the 2nd consecutive week, they massively fuck up a goal line situation. Another goddamn illegal shift penalty, followed by another sack, forcing a field goal. The script was becoming too damn predictable, but then the light emerges.
Rolling out, looking for options. Throws it off his back foot, and it's intercepted!
Mahomes has been getting too cocky with his throws, and it costs them big time here. Even then, the Bolts are facing a 4th and long with time winding down. They could go for the field goal, but remember who the quarterback is on the other side. They know the key. They have to be aggressive. It's the only way to beat the Chiefs. And it paid off. Incredibly bold moves to help them score another touchdown, and they win. Even after charging on the extra point. The other shoe didn't drop. Huh. That's stunning. Chiefs, I know you want to be worried about the sloppy offense and turnstile defense on display, but I'd be more concerned about Andy Reid. He had to be hospitalized after the game for feeling ill. Hopefully it's nothing, but considering the stresses of a head coaching job, please don't be the NFL's Terry Francona. Detroit Lions are holding a celebration for Calvin Johnson today. It's full of bitterness and resentment for wasting his career and denying him what he's owed, but that won't stop them from playing Baltimore. As much of a mess as they've been over the years, they're playing a competently sound game. They aren't doing much of anything on offense, but what the Lions needed to do is contain Lamar Jackson. And they're doing it well. Although Hollywood Brown may be doing more than enough of that with his performance. It appears on this festive occasion, the Ravens chose to imitate their rival 4 hours away. They're playing down to their competition. And it's humiliating to see. Baltimore, this is against a team trying to trade away Jamie Collins. They should be burying them, yet the defense is being left to dry. Nothing like helping them rest by Lamar throwing a pick. Their offense was hot garbage in the first half, but with a field goal after a long drive, Detroit has the lead with a minute left.
Here I come to save the day.
High-end talent bailing out a team playing like shit. I'm experiencing deja vu. But even that can't save them here, right? Justin Tucker needs to make the league's longest field goal of 66 yards to do it.
On its way. It bounces off the crossbar, and it's good.
Justin fucking Tucker. Call it a hot take all you want, but this man is a first ballot Hall of Famer. Single-handedly saving Baltimore's terrible game to lead them to an undeserved win. Why do I say that? Look at the play beforehand. This is the lay of game. That field goal should have never happened. Detroit got screwed out of a win in the most Detroit way possible. There is only one true conclusion we can make. God hates the Lions. Bobby Lane was wrong. His 50-year curse was based on Mars's orbit. You know how easy it is to write shit about the New York Jets? No matter the personnel or player changes, they will always find incredible ways to butt fumble it all. I could just copy-paste all the shit I said over the past few weeks about them, and it would be just as accurate as it was then. This team is terrible. Even 12-year-olds are shitting on them nowadays. And I'm hearing all the Jets fans in the distance. You're getting lazy, Tree. Get better material. Here's an idea, folks. How about the Jets get better material? It's been the same shit with this organization for over half a decade now. Denver now becomes the most undeserving 3-0 team in the league because they played the equivalent of journalist mode in a video game. Oh, wow, you beat the mistakes in East Rutherford and Jacksonville. So impressive. Wake me when you win a legit game. Seattle, Seattle, Seattle. Will you ever find ways not to be hot garbage in games that are winnable? Minnesota had been coming off of 2 devastating losses, yet it felt as if they were invincible most of the time. The offense swarmed all over whatever you call a defense, just like the Titans did in the second half. Kirk Cousins lived up to previous expectations. You know how hard that is to accomplish these days? They didn't even have Dalvin Cook. Didn't matter, Justin Jefferson got gritty all over your corpse. As for that offense of yours, they must have sold it to you at half price. If they didn't, you got ripped off. It's the only way I can explain them checking out again in the second half. This Seahawks team has severe flaws that have been laid bare for all to see these past few weeks. The Vikings simply took advantage of their weakened state. The hungry lion always goes after the injured or elderly for its meal. And Pete Carroll is looking real out of touch as of late. I wonder if they ever get it together. They tend to usually beat Minnesota in these kinds of games, but not this year. The Rams have had success early on, but they need to make a statement. There are still questions about the team, despite their talent. Their first true test comes here, against the defending Super Bowl champs. Tampa Bay is bringing both their winning core and the bandwagon fans that cling along for the ride. Even for their strengths, the Bucs have a glaring weakness. Their young secondary. It's mercurial. And the Rams did pay a premium to get a QB that can sky the ball. It took a little bit to get the engines warmed up, but when that baby was purring, oh, the connections were perfect. Matthew Stafford has a confidence never seen before in his career. It just feels like a different aura this time around. His gunslinging talents are so great that Tom Brady can't keep up in tandem. LA accomplished their main goal. They have their statement win. If they look this good against quality competition early on, who knows what their true upside could be. Don't mind me, I'll just be in the corner seething in St. Louis. I jinxed Miami with the bid on them earlier in the year, didn't I? Not only did they have that brutal loss last week, but Tua's injury is more serious than first thought. So the Dolphins must settle for Jacoby's backup Brisket at QB. He's the Applebee's of quarterbacks. You only settle for him if nothing else is available and don't feel like spending a lot on a night out. He's okay, but you aren't going to get wowed by him. At least the Dolphins' D showed up. They've stormed out to a 14-point lead against the Raiders. This calls for a bubble screen at their own 1-yard line. I didn't stutter. There weren't any goddamn blockers for Waddle. What did you expect him to do, warp 10 yards due to net lag? What have you done, Miami? You gave Vegas life! Derek Carr is back to his 2016 form and is thrashing defenses left and right. The Raiders have a defense that isn't refuse? What the hell am I saying these words? Oh, thank God the Raiders are falling into a black hole of inconsistency. Miami, even with backup Brisket, are putting up a fight deep into the fourth. Same old Raiders. You leave Oakland, yet you give up big penalties to allow them a chance to score.
Rush coming. Brissett steps up. Brissett, the fake, and he's in! Touchdown, Miami!
It's successful, but they need the 2-point conversion as well.
Brissett, fake the handoff. Throws it. Complete!
There's the vintage Raiders. Have the win locked up and somehow find a way to squander it. Fortunately for them, this seems to be a different group than past years. They don't shit themselves when faced with adversity. Gruden must have instilled that hard-nosed old-school mentality of fuck everything and go balls out, and it's worked wonders for the offense. They do just enough to hold on and win. We'll just ignore this uncalled pass interference against the Finns, but that's punishment for throwing a screen at your own fucking 1-yard line. Everyone prepare to be sucked into a black hole. Raider Nation will soon consume us all. Have you ever seen their fan base when they're successful? They rival Cowboys fans in their magnitude. We're fucked, aren't we? Refball, the game. Coming soon to game consoles everywhere. You had a potentially great game in your midst, but the Packers were pulling away early. They're up by 17, so they need some terrible penalties to make up the difference. Some ticky-tacky pass interference calls helps get San Fran a TD before half. Maybe defensive holding, that's a good one too. Ooh, how about some of those bullshit roughing the passer penalties the fans love so much? But make sure not to call much against the 49ers. Helmet-to-helmet hits on defenseless receivers are A-okay here. Player safety, am I right? The Zebras will try to hand the game to the Niners so often that Jimmy Jesus still thinks the tuck rule is still a thing. It's okay, Jimmy, I did as well. But that's all good and fine. San Francisco has the ball. If they can control possession until the end of the game, they'll be fine.
Garoppolo over the middle, that's caught. Check, and he get in. Yes, he can.
Hold up a second. San Fran scored a TD with time left. That's it, Green Bay's winning. They gave Aaron Rodgers too much time. 40 seconds is an eternity in the modern NFL. And Rodgers is a master at the 2-minute drill. Playing defense? What's that in this NFL? Just go into zone D. You don't even need to pretend there's any tension. Just go right to the kick through the uprights.
And the kick is good to win the game.
Good work, refs. Created your manufactured drama with all that bullshit. Fortunately, the team that deserved to win did. Now on to the next Art Attack, Wisconsin. Rivalry where the downside is that only one team can lose. In Jerry Boy's shrine, everything's bigger. This includes the ass-kickings of the hollowed-out shells of former teams. People thought Philly was good after beating Atlanta. Atlanta. Come on. Dallas and their talent will put that false narrative to rest. Jalen Hurts threw the ball as well as Mike McCarthy can manage a game clock. He was so bad that people were calling for the arm punt sensei Joe Flacco to come in. No one should ever have to suffer through past prime Flacco. Will he somehow allow the team to gain discipline while playing? That offense should be penalized just for being shit. The Cowboys march on to an easy win and the cool breeze of a winning record blowing in the air. So how much of this is that the Cowboys defense is good or just that the Eagles suck that much? Speaking of Dallas, we need to head back there to find a prestigious lol cow of the week. A few weeks ago, La'el Collins was suspended by the Shields for failing a mandatory drug test. Before the test, he knew he was boned, and he was contemplating. As Jerry wasn't going to be able to bail him out of this precarious situation, he needed a gambit. It was a Hail Mary pass that fell to the ground 5 yards past the line of scrimmage. The dude tried to bribe a drug test collector. Dude, what the hell did you think was gonna happen? That he'd take the small pittance and lose his job? I'll give him credit for trying to think outside the box, but this isn't local politics, La'el. The NFL has more than enough money to have immunity from the government greed. They could buy a few states if they wanted. With this, I leave you with an important lesson. Don't do drugs. Unless it makes you better at football. Then just don't get caught doing them. Football is a brutal game. May the bell toll for the fallen.
Unit lost.
Unit lost. Unit lost.
Unit lost.
Thus concludes another week of this sermon on the field. Amen.
Got it up! And short! Agnew brings it out of the end zone. Agnew still